Hi everyone, my name is Dee Rousseau, also known as Deja, and today I am going to be talking about all of the books that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited. It has been interesting having Kindle Unlimited. I haven't had it in such a long time, and then I finally decided to try it out for the first time last year. I think around like maybe September, maybe July. I feel like maybe it was July. But I finally decided to try it out only because like I have been trying to read a little bit more indie, and I know a lot of indie books are on Kindle Unlimited, and I feel like it's a good way to try to find some new authors that I would potentially want to buy one day. But yeah, right now I have 18 books checked out on Kindle Unlimited, which I'm hoping to get to in the next like few weeks, and it's definitely a wide range. I have been trying to step away from just getting romance books, so I have some thrillers on here, and I have some fantasy, and of course I still have romance, and I think there's like some fantasy romance on there, just a lot of different ones. They're all by Black authors because I'm only reading Black authors this year. And so yeah, without further ado, let me get into this video. So the first group I guess I will talk about is just like the romance reads that I have. And the first one that I have is Real by Canary Ryan. I figured that this would be a good one to start with. I feel like I've heard great things about this one, although I have heard great things about Canary Ryan's works in general, but this is one that I thought sounded interesting because it follows a director, I want to say, and an actress, and I have been putting it off because I don't know if I really want to cry reading a romance, but I feel like it's just going to be like a beautiful story, and I definitely wanted to try this author out, so I checked it out on Kindle Unlimited. And then the next romance book that I have, although I feel like it's more erotica, is The Sweetest Escape by Rosie Adams. And I've heard great things about this author. I think the most notable work by her is Birthday Shot, or Birthday Girl. No, I think it's Birthday Shot. Yeah, Birthday Shot. And I checked this one out because I have been looking for some more Caribbean romances, and this one I'm not sure if the characters are actually Caribbean or if it just takes place in the Caribbean. I got this recommendation off Comfy Cozy Up's channel, which I'll link that video down below. And this one, I hope that I really like it. I'm thinking that since I know that it's an erotica going in, like I'll probably be more open to it as long as it's not like disguised as a like romance. But like I think that this one will be like a fine quick read that I can read during my Caribbean Heritage Month reading vlog. And then kind of moving on to kind of my fantasy speculative romance that I have checked out. The first one that I have is The Vampire King by Kenya Ray. I have not read anything by this author before, but I have been really digging vampires right now. I don't know what it is about vampires that I just really like. I think it's just the aesthetic of vampires that I like, and I really hope that I enjoy this one. I think this author only writes like interracial, multicultural romances, but I'm not too sure about that, so this will be my first foray into Kenya Wright's works, and so we will see how that goes. The next speculative romance that I have is That Time I Got Drunk and Saved the Demon, and I wanted to check this one out because I've heard great things about it, and I really hope that I enjoy this one. I heard that it's super funny, and I'm ready just for a good laugh, and so I'm pretty sure that I'm going to get to this one like pretty soon. But yeah, this one is like a super popular one, and I just wanted to support the author, and I know that there's going to be like a traditionally published version now, and so I'll be curious to know like the differences between those. But yeah, I wanted to grab this one just ahead of time before like that new edition comes out. Hi guys, I just wanted to say that this book is no longer available in Kindle Unlimited. They have actually decided to take it out of Kindle Unlimited. The author sold it to Orbit Books, and the cover has also changed. So just wanted to let you guys know. And then the next one that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited is Vicious Bonds by Shanora Williams. And this one I picked up because I love the cover, and I have been looking for more like diverse fantasy romance by Black authors. I've been seeing a lot more by non-Black authors, or still like by Black authors, but they're not Black, and so I'm still on my search for like a 5-star fantasy romance by a Black author. I mean, I guess in general, but definitely by a Black author, because like I really like the idea of what a fantasy romance could do, but I just haven't really been finding any that I really enjoyed. And so this one is like a dark fantasy romance. I'm thinking I might really enjoy this one because I will probably like the thrilling aspects of it. I know this author has written like thrillers in the past, like domestic thrillers I want to say, which I still want to read those as well. But since I have been more leaning towards fantasy romance, I thought that I would try this one as well. And I have like the highest hopes for it. And also with like the speculative romance, I have checked out an entire series called the Myths, Legends, and Monsters series by K. Alex Walker. First book is called The Gatekeeper, the second one is called Elias the Wicked, and the third one is called The Girl in the Mountains, and the last one is called Jonah's Ghost. What originally drew me to this series was Jonah's Ghost. Like I really liked the cover of this one. It just seems very, I don't know, like not like fairy tale-ish, but just just really liked how pretty it was. But then I realized that it was actually part of a series, so then I guess I'm going to start with The Gatekeeper, which I also thought sounded very interesting now that I have like checked out the entire series. And The Gatekeeper is a Polynesian god like romance with a Black woman, which I have never read, and so I'm very curious to know like how I would think about it. And I read like the first paragraph of this one, and I actually really like the author's writing so far, and so this actually might be a 5-star speculative romance for me, but we will see, because even though like the first few pages could be good, you never know how like the eventual like payoff would be. And so I'm really hopeful that I really enjoy this like entire series, and if not, then oh well, I guess. And the last speculative romance book that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited is A Heart to Hold. And in my first vlog of the year, I had read the first book in this series called That My Dear Is Love. So this is the second book, and this one follows completely different characters, and so I'm hopeful that even though I didn't really like the first book in this series, I'm very hopeful that the second book will be better because it's following different characters. Because I think the main problem with the other book is that I didn't really like the characters, and then like I don't know. So I'm really hopeful that this one will be better. I have already started the like first few pages, and I'm liking this character a little bit more, but we will see. I'm thinking that this is a sapphic plus size romance, but I'm not sure. Of course, it's still Regency inspired. I'm really hopeful for it because I really wanted to like That My Dear Is Love, but it doesn't work out. And I'm thinking that maybe it was just because of the characters, because the author is like a decent writer. But yeah, we'll see how this one goes. And then the one nonfiction book that I have is The Paths Made Clear by Oprah Winfrey. I have been looking at this one to read because of my work book club, and I have been trying to get a little bit more Black authors in there because like I feel like we really only read like white men, which is not necessarily a bad thing, but I definitely want some diversity of thought in there. But yeah, it's Oprah, and so I'm thinking that it's probably going to be a very good read, but we will see. And moving on to just the speculative books that I have. The first one that I have is The Daughters of Henri. Of course, I checked this one out because I really love the cover of this one. I'm really loving the golds and the browns of this cover. And this one I have also sampled, and I really am intrigued by the beginning parts of this. I know it has very mixed feelings about it right now, but right now I'm very curious to know how everything's going to work out with this. And so I'll be very curious to see like what I think about it at the end, but right now I'm super invested in it and I cannot wait to read this one. And the next fantasy book that I have checked out is May a Divine Awaken, and this one I briefly saw this one on Instagram and I wanted to check it out only because I know this is by a Black male author, and I have been trying to get more into those because it is very easy to only read Black women authors, and actually just like women in general. So I have been like actively trying to find books by Black male authors that I really am interested in. And so this one called out to me on Instagram. I'm not really sure what this one is about and I haven't sampled it yet, but I checked this one out purely because of who the author was. I definitely feel like I will try to read this when I'm more in a fantasy mood, but yeah. And the next book that I have is When Shadows Fall, and this one I checked out because I read a short story by the author in this short story collection called Girls of Might and Magic, and this author's story was one of the only stories that I actually enjoyed in it. I think there's only like 2 or 3 of them in the book that I actually enjoyed, and I really like this author's writing. And so I know this author has like a few other books in their backlist, and they're releasing something I think in July of this year as a part of like some collaboration that they're doing with other authors. And so I wanted to try this one out because, like I said, I really enjoyed the author's writing and the other story, and I'm also just in love with this cover. And the next one that I have is Mothdett's Claws, which is the companion novel to A Queen's Pride, which I read a few years ago. This one follows the warrior general, I want to say, to the princess in the first one, and I feel like her story is going to be very interesting just because of the fact that she doesn't really speak to her children anymore, and I think that the story is going to follow that kind of storyline, and so I'm very curious to know what I will think about it. While I didn't love the first one, I'm still curious about like just this world in general. They are feline shifters, and yeah, it was definitely a story of revenge in the first one, and so I'm curious to know what this story is going to be about, and so I checked this one out on Kindle Unlimited. And then I have Darknesses by Lachelle Seville, which I'm just so surprised that I still have this book checked out on Kindle Unlimited, and I have sampled this one too, and I have loved it so far, but I just have not been able to like finish it yet. And so this one is a gothic story that is about vampires, and I know that I'm going to love this one, but I have this thing where like the books that I feel like I'm going to love, like I put them off because I don't want to be disappointed, and that is the problem that I think I'm facing, and probably why I have not had a 5-star read yet, because I just keep putting them off. But this one is definitely something that's very interesting to me. I've heard nothing but great things about it. I'm hoping that I will get to this very, very soon. Another book that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited that I don't really know how to categorize, I want to say it's urban fiction, but I don't think that it is. I think it's just like a romance but with a lot of drama, and this book is One Ain't Enough. The reason why I picked this up is because I've heard about it on Between the Reads, which is one of my favorite podcasts to try to find new books that I want to read, and I've heard the author talking with Audra about it, and the way that the story sounds, it just sounds like a mess with like some messy characters and just like a messy lifestyle. And I am very like curious to know like what I think about it, because sometimes I really do just want to see like other characters living like a mess of a life, because my life just feels like it's a mess sometimes. And so just hearing like Audra and the author talking about this one, I feel like this will be a very entertaining time, and I don't know. We will see how I think about it, because yeah, I don't know what to expect with this one. And so I checked it out because I'm curious, but this could go very good or it can go very bad. And the last one I checked out is one of my most recent ones that I checked out, is His Dark Reflection. And this one is a thriller by a Black author that I just recently heard about on Instagram. And I'm trying to get more into thrillers because those are just like quick, easy reads for me. And I just really like reading them sometimes, especially on audiobook, because I feel like I just get like antsy and I just like get through my days really fast. And so I checked this one out, and I'm just so like curious to know like how it's going to go. And yeah, I have high hopes for this one just because of like all the drama that I think is going to happen in this one. But that wraps up all of the books that I have checked out on Kindle Unlimited. I would be curious to know which ones that you have checked out because I'm always looking for more recommendations. And if you don't have Kindle Unlimited, how do you usually get your books? Like, do you usually buy them or do you check them out from the library? Before I had KU, I usually just checked them out from the library, or like I bought some, but since I have been trying to get more into indie books, like I said, I decided to check out Kindle Unlimited this year, but I still prefer my library, to be honest. But anyway, I hope that you have enjoyed this video. If you have, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!